Yeah, thank you. I was going to ask you whether the recording was on because I didn't get that. I just got the message that said this
Oh,
was being
right. Okay, so I'll repeat this. I'm talking to Michael Alpert about the 1996 Wesleyan Klezmer Research Conference as part of a series of short chats.
good. And right, so you had been saying where, talking about where did it at what point did it appear in our life, what its resonance was, what we remember about it, et cetera, et cetera. Um, I actually, that makes me want to look at my calendar, which I could easily access here, to see what else was going on that fall. It was in the fall, right? Wasn't it September?
April,
Oh,
no, wait.
oh,
Yeah,
fall or spring,
yeah,
as I recall.
right,
It
yeah,
wasn't. It
right,
wasn't inclement weather, nor
right.
very.
No.
Maybe it was April. Yeah, um, and I could have a look at, but. I can tell you that for me, I mean, in terms of this isn't necessarily about the larger resonance, but at that point in my life, I was so 1996, touring a great deal with Brave Old World, especially, but not only, but mainly with Brave Old World, and well, I'll go ahead and say what I in the interview what I said before. For me, the conference, as I said, I don't have very good memories of it personally. That not at all referring to, the conference itself or its significance. It was I think it was a great thing to do and for me it was personally fraught with a number of things. Seeing Joel Rubin again after our showbiz divorce and within Brave Old World um, for the first time since the early 1992. And as I said before, we've, long since, but it was quite a few years after that, and we've long since become, very, very good friends again. And and not only me, but the other members of Brave Old World too. Um, there was some tension for me around seeing Henry Sapoznik again. And as I said, I didn't feel like my presentation was very well thought through. I can't even remember what I said. Um, and probably those notes are scribbled in a notebook somewhere. And in contrast to some others who came in, I felt, much better prepared and even for example, I mean, I was very impressed with what Frank and London and Alicia Spiegel's what Frank and Alicia wrote and ultimately published. I thought was fabulous, impressive, and intimidating to me in a way, or I was like, God, I wish I'd actually written something down rather than just extemporized from notes. And I probably ran out of time too. I just wasn't kind of, I would say it was in my pre-public speaking era. Not that I hadn't given a couple of papers other places, but uh, so I felt underprepared. What I remember as being significant statements were for sure Frank's and Alicia's, and I was very interested in the same topics. Why are we doing this? What are we doing? Not just the kind of historical reconstruction um, or the to use a term I hate, salvage ethnography, but what's what is this phenomenon, this thing that we're all engaged in and passionate about, what does it mean, and so I also what I thought was wonderful was Kurt's talk, Kurt Bierling, because I mean he was really I recall that he he really questioned, among other things, he questioned a lot of assumptions we made about performance and performance practice. I remember him playing Taris recordings and saying, "Well, I've always told people that there was no kind of there weren't large glissandi or swoops in klezmer music." And then he said, "Yeah, but listen to this." And here was Taris playing in whatever it was, 1921 or 1940 or something, and I think he was playing some of the early Taris recordings too, some of the first. Um, and I thought, as usual, typical of Kurt, he came in and said something really spot on, um, musically substantial, and just, I thought it was stellar. That's one recollection I have. And as I said, I felt by contrast, I kind of got up and stumbled through a few things from notes, and that do you have any do you have a list of the titles of our
Yeah, I
present?
sent you the poster. I sent you the PDF of the poster, so it's all listed there.
Oh,
Yeah.
can I haul that up and have a look? I haven't
Uh, sure. I mean, yeah, I have it online, but I don't want to leave
or
this session to get it. But
you could pause the recording too if you want,
oh yeah, I guess I could. Um, where's the
or just cut this out. I mean, or just tell me what it says. I don't have to look at everything.
right? Now I've lost. Oh, there you are.
What was mine called?
Uh, yeah. So, well, we don't need to talk too long. Um, Now I have to find it. Um, 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 oh, um, right. So,
Okay, recording in progress. Good. Um, and we're back now with Mark Slobin and Michael Alpert. Uh, good. So were there was nothing, no program or just even a sheet printed out that said what we spoke about?
no, it's just the names of the people. And I
Mm,
left it to people to figure out what they were doing. I sent you, I must have sent you the fact that Wesleyan's archive actually has cassettes of some of the conference. I don't
yes.
remember it isn't complete, but I don't remember whether your talk is on that or not, but you could check it out. Uh,
Whatever. Yeah. Okay.
anyway, it's an historical thing that came and went. It was never replicated, but it did go on to informing the book, American Klezmer, its roots and offshoots, which you ended up contributing to. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. For sure. And I mean, I think it was, beyond that, I think it's gone on to inform the kind of discourse a lot of us in the klezmer Yiddish music community have been or Yiddish performance traditions community have been engaging in and having, especially some of the sessions and discussions that have come out of the pandemic lockdown period when we were starting with the reading of Berezovsky, the sessions that Craig and Ilana Kravitz and others organized around Berezovsky and the Berezovsky work. Ultimately, also, I would say Peter Harrow, Josh Horowitz's session of what is it, the promiscuous
Klezmer.
history of
Yeah.
Jewish music or something like that, and the continuing, the Berezovsky online forum that's on Facebook. I mean, I think it very much it was the first manifestation. I mean, of course, you as an academic and primary researcher of klezmer music, etc. And as you know, we've known each other for a long time. You know, I don't want to only define things in terms of klezmer music. To me, it's Yiddish music and the
Right.
various
Right.
um, intersecting genres within that, et cetera. And it extends out to Yiddish culture as a whole for me and probably any number of other people. But the you know, just being who we are, were Jewish, and many of us with a intellectual bent, if not, you know, actively scholarly bent, or some version of those. You know, I always have described us as, you know, scholar practitioners or practitioner scholars, etc. It was kind of, you know, it was almost a setup to go that route. That
Mhm.
we're, of course, you know, the people of the book and all of that, and discussion and pilpul and di- you know, the discourse. Of course, we're going to want to also talk about what we were doing.
Yeah.
And by the way,
Well,
that came up a lot when we, you know, especially um, in Brave Old World, when we started to perform right away, when we started, even before we were called Brave Old World, started to perform in Germany and teach in Germany. That was after we were called Brave Old World. Um, the that you know, wait a second, you know, we thought you were musicians or practitioners of the script of the tradition, but you know, you sound like intellectuals and scholars, and it's like, you know, yeah, well, it's because, you know, we play the music and we know how to talk about it and we think about it, you know.
right.
That, I think that was, you know, a
Okay.
significant piece, you know, figures into all this strongly.
Great. Okay. We should wrap it up. Going to try to keep them all around the same length, but yeah, that's an interesting take on it. So,